Scientific explanations. Allusions in the adyton. It has been disputed as to how the adyton was organized, but it appears clear that this temple was unlike any other in ancient Greece. The small chamber was located below the general floor of the temple and offset to one side, perhaps specifically constructed over the crossing faults. The intimate chamber allowed the escaping vapors to be contained in quarters close enough to provoke intoxicating effects. In his work Moralia, Plutarch reports that the temple was filled with a sweet smell when the deity was present, not often nor regularly, but occasionally and fortuitously. The room in which they seat the gods' consultants is filled with a fragrance and breeze, as if the adyton were sending forth the essences of the sweetest and most expensive perfumes from a spring. De Boer's research led him to speculate ethylene as a gas known to possess this sweet odor. Toxicologist Henry R. Spiller specified that inhalation of even a small amount of ethylene can cause both benign trances and euphoric frenzied states. Other effects include physical detachment, loss of inhibitions, the relieving of pain, and rapidly changing moods without dulling consciousness. He also noted that uncontrolled doses can lead to confusion, agitation, delirium, and loss of muscle coordination. Anesthesiologist Isabella Erb found that a dose of 20% ethylene gas administered to a subject was a clear threshold. A dosage higher than 20% caused unconsciousness. With less than 20% a trance was induced where the subject could sit up, hear questions and answer them logically. Although the tone of their voice might be altered, their speech pattern could be changed, and they may have lost some awareness of their hands and feet. With some it was possible to have poked a pin or pricked them with a knife and they would not feel it. When patients were removed from the area where the gas accumulated, they had no recollection of what had happened, or what they had said. With a dosage of more than 20% the patient lost control over the movement of their limbs and may thrash wildly, groaning in strange voices, losing balance and frequently repeatedly falling. All of these symptoms match the experience of the Pythia in action, as related by Plutarch, who witnessed many prophecies. In 2001, water samples from the nearby springs hailed evidence of the presence of the hallucinogenic hydrocarbon. The Kurna spring, originating uphill from the temple, yielded 0.3 parts per million of ethylene. Today, the waters of the Kurma spring are diverted from the temple for use by the nearby modern town of Delphi. It is unknown the degree to which ethylene or other gases would be detected at the temple should these waters still run free, as they did in the ancient world. Chunks of travertine, calcareous rock formed of mineral spring deposits, were also extracted from the temple and tested, but no traces of ethylene were identified. The nature of the hydrocarbon accounts for this. Ethylene is extremely light and volatile, having a highly reactive nature, and therefore could have presumably escaped the rock long ago. By testing the samples from the spring water, the team was at least able to identify the substance's current presence at the site, giving them insight that a presumably larger quantity existed in the waters thousands of years earlier. Frequent earthquakes produced by the fact that Greece lies at the intersection of three separate tectonic plates seem to have been responsible for the observed cracking of the limestone, and the opening up of new channels by which hydrocarbons enter the flowing waters of the Kysottis. This would cause the amounts of ethylene emitted to fluctuate, increasing or decreasing the potency of the drug released over time. It has been suggested that the decline in the importance of the oracle past the era of Roman Emperor Hadrian was due in part to the fact that there had not been an earthquake in the area for a significant length of time.